But as people can see on the dinosaur tree, meat was not used at all. So no meats whatsoever. I mean, on none of them there was, well, two of them actually only, but was tested and everything. But the dinosaur tree is totally green and everything because no meat, but a lot of eggs were used on it. A lot of eggs and everything, and people can see right there that it is totally green and everything. And that's how actually it grows. Those lines right there, that's where, like streets, where atoms like cars fly to it and move through the branches, through the roots, and come, and the plant grows. But as it goes from the ground up through the wood and everything and to the leaf or to the fruit where it grows, it already changes color and turns green. So what you make the plant out of enriches those atoms as they are moving through the plant and come right there. So let's say I put in atoms of egg, which is mostly carbon right there, calcium, carbon, and so on. The carbon atoms of an egg, which a lot of them are in the dinosaur tree, it comes here green, so it's not white and it's not yellow, even if it is a foam of an egg, but it's actually green. And that's because as the atom moves through the whole tree and comes to the leaf, the energy of the tree changes it and turns it to be green. That's why the tomato is green as well, because as it goes through this whole branch, twists right there, and the atom comes into the tomatoes, when it comes to the tomatoes, it's green because the plant changes it to be green. But now this one that's gonna have a lot of meat in it, who knows, but I can't put too much meat into it because it would become too greasy. And if it's too greasy, then the water cannot go through the leaves and through the plant. And if the water cannot go, then they'll start going dry and everything. Although this meat that I used is going well, because it just changed color, but it's not going dry or bad or anything. But maybe that takes a bit longer time. So I have to see, because these leaves, they sort of, they're not dry, they're not bad, they just change color. But that is because there is a lot of those meat in it and everything, but it's just darker, so to speak. But although this leaf is down next to the ground, so the ones up here are different and looking better. But that is like an explanation that's about some physics of that. When the water with the enriched atoms right there goes into the roots, it goes through the tree, goes right there to the sucker and goes into the tomatoes. But then why are the tomatoes green? But all that stuff, there is ground, there is eggs, there is this and that, but the tomato is still green because the plant takes all those rich atoms, and as it goes through it, it changes color and turns green, because the energy in the plant always changes it to be green. And then the tomatoes sit there, and as they get, and all that energy that's in the plant, it flies into the tomatoes. So even these tomatoes and even the new tomatoes coming are constantly being filled with energy. That's why in the end the tomato is red. Plus maybe because the tomato gets bigger and bigger, and as it gets big enough it changes temperature and then it turns red. See, right there are two more tomatoes, but that cannot yet be seen. But the flowers are showing that they are already tomatoes starting to grow and everything. So there's three right there, and 2 more on the way. And this one as well is slower. So right here on this branch is gonna be like 6 tomatoes and 1 more little one. So that's 7 possible ones. But they are growing nicely and everything. And so are these little green branches. But this green branch of the flower, which is the green part of the flower, it actually shows you how big the tomato is gonna be. So this is showing me right there that these are could go up to like 1/2 kilogram perhaps, because this, how much it extends, that the green of the flower, the plant right there, that's like that part right there, which is this pointy right there thing. Well, how big that is, that shows you in the future how big the plant is planning to make a tomato. So I think these right here are gonna be over 1/2 kilogram right there. But the seeds originally that I got, well, they were maybe as big as a hand, like that. So that's the seed. The tomato I got was about that big, one that would fit in a hand like that. So a lot smaller. That's the seeds that I got out of, and when I planted these and everything. But that right there is showing me that these will be around over 1/2 kilogram already. That the tree is planting them that big, and these 3 are already fertilized, so they're on the way and everything. But that is like a smart thing to explain. So imagine if the atoms and molecules are cars, and these lines and branches are streets, and there is trillions of them. Let's say in that thin branch right there, well, there is like maybe 5 billion atoms can fit there from one side to the other. So 5 billion atoms can be going through it right now. But there is a place of it, and there is place of where the water is and everything. So you could say with the water molecules and everything, there could be like 2 billion, 3 billion atoms and water molecules going right now into this leaf. And those are the streets, those lines right there. One sees white lines. And imagine if there was parking right there. If those are all streets and atoms park, well, when they park right there at the end of all the streets, that's how the plant grows. And that's how this green comes to be green from these white streets. So all these white lines are just alleyways where the atoms are coming to the plant and turning into these green parts of the leaves. Of course, if we got closer and closer, there is a lot more of these lines if we would go deeper into the quantum realm and everything, of course.